I don't know what to make a video on today. What video should I make? I was going to start with like this funny musical intro, but I have no ideas what to play, what song to do in this moment, what video to react to. So I'm just going to go to the comments and see. What do we have here? Oh! Tsar Bomba! Tsar Bomba! What is Tsar? Maybe I should write a song on Tsar Bomba. Tsar Bomba! 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 That's what we are going to react today, and that's the song I just wrote. Yeah, totally. I wrote it. It's not an anthem of any sort. I wrote it right now. It's called Tsar Bomba by Artur, the Estonian soldier. So we go. This is for those of you who think I'm fake drinking. I am not. Real liquid in there. Tsar Bomba, the biggest nuclear bomb ever built by the Soviet Union, the biggest nuclear bomb in the world. We're going to react to it today, and I hope it is as epic as this new song was that I wrote just now. My friends, before we go, as always, there are patrons to this channel. There are patrons. They help me. They have to help the channel. I cannot miss them, so in every video for the rest of eternity, there will be 3 patrons. So if you want your name to be read out loud in this video, become a patron. The link is in the description below. But now we have Carlan. Thank you, Mr. Carlan, for becoming a Patreon. Secondly, we have Avery Sherman, a Patreon. Avery, which is a woman's name, and a Sherman, which is a tank. We have a tank, a Sherman tank for a Patreon. Thank you, Mrs. Tank, for supporting the channel. You are dank. Finally, we have Larry Welchko, Mr. Welchko. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to be heroes like those 3, become a Patreon. My friends, the fish don't sleep. The fish don't go bald because they don't have hair. They just wait. They wait for the fish documentary. They need 500 here. If they get 500, they get their fish documentary. My friends, we have a lot of people to add to the fish documentary shirt list. Here we have 11, but we will have more after this one. Listen to these glorious names. We have Kristen Brown, Keith Green, Joe Bruzek, Avery Sherman, and Kelly O'Neill. Let's add them all to the board. 16 already. We are closer to the fish documentary, my friends. Go and get yourself a cool fish shirt, and I'll see you in the fish documentary. I'm swimming away now. Let's see what is this Tsar Bomba. I have 2 videos lined up for you about Tsar Bomba. Both of them have over a million views. One of them has 3 million views. Let's go.
It was on this frozen desert island, in the most dangerous period of the Cold War, that the ultimate explosion took place.
The ultimate explosion.
Novaya Zemlya, in the
Novaya Zemlya. Novaya Zemlya. In Russian, that means new land. Novaya is new, Zemlya is land. It's new land.
Arctic Barents Sea is where the Russians demonstrated their nuclear might, testing bombs of ever-increasing power.
Ooh, look at that mushroom. Ooh, hey baby. Big explosions. Sure, it does look like a mushroom.
1961, they pushed the limits of explosive power further than they'd ever gone, or will probably ever go again. This bomb was codenamed the Tsar. It contained the equivalent of 58 million tons of TNT, or all the explosives used in World War II, multiplied by 10.
All the explosives used in World War II multiplied by 10 in one single bomb. Oh, hell no! No, this should not exist. No, no, no.
The Tsar, the biggest bomb, the most powerful device mankind has ever constructed, was to be their masterpiece. And a political showpiece, too. 6 camera crews were assigned to film this unique moment in history. The air crew were hand-picked. They'd been warned their safety couldn't be guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
They
you
could
don't know.
avoid being blinded by the light. But being knocked out of the sky was quite possible.
Huh?
The exact moment of release was controlled from the ground. The bomb had been given a parachute to slow its descent and give the crew more time to escape.
Oh, look at that fireball. I mean, the quality
They did
shit.
escape, but only just. The plume rose right through the cloud layer and kept on rising. It flattened out when the cloud was 40 miles high.
40 miles high. It went to the space almost. It went almost up to the space. That's how powerful it is. Hell, Americans, make one of those. Please make it. Because if Russia has it, I don't feel safe.
The blast wave was still large enough to be measured on its 3rd passage around the world. Because the bomb was detonated 2 miles above the ground, there was very little radioactive fallout.
Oh.
But the Earth directly below the burst was seared by the intense heat. Rock had been turned to ash. The bomb was 4 times bigger than anything America has ever exploded. Why
I don't like
something
this.
so large?
America, do
The United
it.
States could develop very accurate missiles. The Soviets never mastered that technique very well, and to compensate for that, they really could level a very large area and take out their intended target without having to actually hit the target itself.
So the Soviets could not make accurate missiles, guys. It's a very modernized technology, microchips and all of that stuff to make weapons smart and accurate. Soviets were not on that level, and they were like, Ivan, we cannot make accurate missile. Just make bomb very big, большой, explosion. Da, very good, Ivan. I think that's how it went, and that's how everything in Russia goes.
But why did the quest for ever bigger bombs suddenly cease?
Because the
As
Cold War
destructive
ended.
power increased, political leaders worried more and more that they were really playing with fire.
In 1963, the superpowers banned bomb tests in the atmosphere, underwater, and in outer space.
Good, good.
I think that the Soviet detonation will probably be the biggest ever man-made detonation in the future as well.
Okay. We have one more video, don't worry my friends, this one didn't show us much. The next one though, it's the infographic show, so you have been warned, but it's not that bad. Don't just sit through it, it's going to be fun. But before we jump into the Estonian soldier hat competition, my friends, let's go. The Estonian soldier hat competition, my friends. Today we have a hero, a true hero and a fan of this channel. I've said his name before many times as a patron, as in the YouTuber Cup competition, in the soldier hat competition. The guy is, drumroll, Larry Moral. Hey, you're a very moral dude, Larry. How many hats do you have? 10? 15? I don't know. Larry is a very cool dude. He wrote to me that he wants his hats to go to Washington. He's not currently in Washington, but he's very loyal to Washington, and he got 5 hats. 5 hats to Washington. This is beautiful. Washington has 48 points, and we're gonna add 5 more, thanks to Larry here. 53 points for Washington, Larry. You are a hero of America and a hero of Washington, and you have a lot of hats. A lot of hats. Thank you. Secondly, we have Mr. Robert Huey. Well, he wrote to me also, but both of them wrote to me. He wrote to me he wants his point to go to somewhere else than mentioned in the order. You can do that if you want to. Rob wanted his point to go to Rapid City. South Dakota, and he wanted this point to beat the North Dakota. The Dakotas are at war. Way to go, Robert. I'm gonna add your point to South Dakota. 5 points to South Dakota. North Dakota has 4 points, so yeah, Robert US, you actually made South Dakota beat North Dakota. Now we have Jakob Samaya. Jakob Samaya sounds like this native rain dance name, right? Am I going to do the rain dance? And am I going to offend a lot of people? Yes, I am. Huyu, 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 Samaya, Samaya, Samaya. I know I offended about 100,000 people right now, but it's okay because I'm an Estonian and I don't know anything, so it's fine. Go and get offended, it's fine. Jacob got a fish shirt also, so he's a double hero. Phoenix, Arizona. 28 points for Arizona. Now we have Jeff Todd. My name is Jeff. Well, it is Jeff, but it's a funny meme, I like it. My name is Jeff. But in Estonia we will pronounce Jeff. J is Jöt, J. You know, Jose in Estonia is Jose. Jeff Todd, the brother of Sweeney Todd, of course, the butcher, the barber. That point goes to Denton, Texas. And Cowboy State gets another point. Yeah, but it needs a lot of points to catch up to Washington, because Washington is so far ahead. Texans, get yourself together. 38 points to Texas. Washington has 53. You can do the math. I actually don't want to because I'm not that good at math. Finally, we have Gabriel Duran. Now, Gabriel also got a fish shirt. You have heard all of those names. I put them in the fish shirt segment. So if you want a fish documentary, go and get a fish shirt. And if you just want to be a cool hero of the world and of Estonia and of your state, go and get the Estonian soldier hat. Gabriel Duran. He got the hat, the fish shirt, and the cup. He's from El Dorado Hills, California. 30 points for California. The third in the competition right now is California, the second being Texas, the first being Washington. Can California catch up to Texas? And can Texas catch up to Washington? We'll find out in the next one. Thanks for getting the hats, my friends. Thanks for getting the fish shirt, my friends. And people are getting the cup also. That shows support. I feel good. You make me feel good, my friends. Thank you. Get back to the video. Alright, this video is called How Powerful is the Tsar Bomba? So we will really find out how powerful. It said it's 4 times more powerful than anything the US has built. That gives us an idea, but I want to know more precisely.
We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous, said the 1950s American-made educational short film Duck and Cover. It seems somewhat of an understatement. Videos such as this have been said by some to be propaganda films to scare the West out of its wits regarding Soviet nuclear strength, but the movie has also been said to be factually incorrect. Some scientists stated that by the time you'd see something to duck and cover from, it would be too late. Others said it all depends on distance. The British followed with a slew of nightmarish nuclear annihilation information films, scaring the bejeebies out.
Yeah, the Cold War in the East, in the Soviet Union, it was all about, putting your gas mask on. Like the first graders had to put on their gas masks and get onto the table, and they were all frightened, like, oh, Americans are gonna bomb us any minute. My mother got that brainwash, my grandfather got it. But in the West, they also did it. They also frightened children with that atomic bomb and the nuclear war. They frightened people. They showed those scary hell-ass movies. They had people build the underground bunkers and all of that stuff, which has been proven non-effective later. It wouldn't have any. If the bomb is dropped, it doesn't matter if you're in that bunker. You're gonna die anyway, probably. But people were afraid, and that helped the government to build up more weapons because the people wanted their side to win, and they actually favored the Cold War. The Cold War could go on. It was necessary to frighten your people, to fear the enemy, otherwise you cannot build more weapons, right? So it was necessary, but children grew up in fear. Not good. Leaves you broken from the head.
Out of all those Brits glued to their TVs. Such disaster infomercials and educational films are now parodied, but those were some scary days. Today we're going to look at the biggest threat of them all in this episode of the Infographic Show, How Powerful is the Tsar Bomba? Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. First of all, what is the Tsar Bomba? For years from the late 1940s to the early 1960s, the Soviets had been testing nuclear bombs at quite a rapid rate. The BBC reports that they tested 26 nuclear bombs in the year of 1958 alone. But the Soviets came up with one particular bomb that was a giant, bigger than those dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, known as Little Boy and Fat Man. There were plenty of code names and nicknames for this monster. Project 27000, Product Code 202, RDS-220, RDS-202, Kuzinka Mat, Vanya, and more.
Vanya. I'm telling you, everything Russia is Ivan. Ivan's nickname is Vanya. Everything is Vanya. Hey, Ivan, what should we name this huge bomb that is going to destroy America? Vanya. Good name, Vanya.
Known in the West as the Tsar Bomb or King of Bombs. It weighed 60,000 pounds, was 25 feet in length, and had a diameter of 6.9 feet. It had a blast yield of 50 megatons, but it said the Soviets could produce a 100 megaton bomb. The BBC reports it was more than a metal monstrosity too big to fit inside even the largest aircraft. It was a city destroyer, a weapon of last resort. To put that into context, it was so powerful that the plane dropping the bomb on the one and only test only had a 50% chance of surviving. They had to deploy a 1-ton parachute holding the bomb so it could drop slowly and then detonate. The pilots should then have been 30 miles away, and they had a chance of surviving. When it did drop,
they had a chance of survival. No guarantees, just a chance of survival.
And detonate on Severny Island, part of the Novoya Zemlya archipelago, about 250 miles off the Russian.
Well, I'm so glad they detonated in the Soviet era, where Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, all of these countries would have been red. Now they're showing the Russian map here, and Estonia is free. I'm glad they used this one. It's actually, for Americans and English and everybody who doesn't really know, yes, Estonia is a separate country if you didn't know this. We speak Estonian here, and that's Finland. That's Latvia, that's Lithuania, that's Poland. I mean, that's Belarus, sorry. Not Soviet Union. So I'm glad they used this map.
Mainland, the blast could be seen 630 miles away. The actual mushroom cloud reached 40 miles in height and spread over a distance of around 63 miles. The worst thing is, people actually lived in the village of Severny, which was about 34 miles from ground zero. It said all the houses there were completely destroyed, but the death toll has never been reported.
So people actually died. The villagers actually died from this detonation, but it's the Soviet Union, so no one cares.
Even in places hundreds of miles from the detonation site, houses were damaged. The pilot did escape, but not before he lost control of his plane and it plummeted around 3,300 feet. According to one source, the heat wave from the explosion was enough to cause third-degree burns to human skin as far away as 60 miles, and the electromagnetic energy generated by the event crippled communication in the northern Soviet Union for more than an hour. It's also reported that the blast shattered windows as far away as Norway and Finland. Now, if we consider that the bomb that fell on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945 killed 60,000 to 80,000 people instantly on detonation, and in total about 135,000 or more due to radiation sickness, we might ask what kind of damage this monster might have done if it had been dropped on, say, an American city. We should also state that years after the Japanese destruction, scores of people were said to have suffered from cancer as a result of radiation. The Tsar bomb was said to be 1,500 times more powerful than those bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Some have said it was even too big, with one US analyst stating it's hard to find a use for it unless you want to knock down very large cities. It simply would be too big to use. With this in mind, what if one of those bombs was dropped on a city such as London or New York? Would the duck and cover advice be any good?
No.
According to NukeMap, a website that actually attempts to illustrate what would happen in such a situation, if the Tsar bomb was dropped on London with the population as it is now, about 5.8 million people would die. If the bomb was dropped on the center of London, The Independent reports that people living in Reading would suffer third-degree burns. Reading is about 37 miles from London as the bird flies, and bomb blasts don't take the roads. All buildings situated around the M25, a motorway that goes around London, would collapse, and anyone living in that area, if not dead from the blast, would possibly die radiation exposure within a week. NukeMap, which was created by American nuclear historian Alex Wellerstein, actually lets you pick a spot and then detonate a bomb at places around the world. We chose Manhattan, and we also chose the Tsar bomb. The bomb would have a fireball of about 5 miles, and the radiation zone would stretch to Times Square and the Brooklyn Bridge. This is the zone in which between 50 and 90% of people would immediately die if they didn't get medical assistance. One person pointed out that both cities of London and New York might fare better than other cities because they have so much life going on underground. Even so, for those above ground, just about anyone in the New York metropolitan area would have third-degree burns due to thermal radiation. The sickness and death that would follow in the weeks to come would be unspeakable. We are talking about the 50 megaton bomb here too, not the 100 megaton bomb that the Russians could have made. We dropped a theoretical 100 megaton bomb on Paris to see what would happen according to NukeMap. The fireball radius would be 3.7 miles and an air blast radius of 20.2 miles. This alone, according to NukeMap, would mean within this area, most residential buildings collapse, injuries are universal, fatalities are widespread. Anyone who is 45 miles from the middle of Paris would likely suffer third-degree burns or worse. For all of these cities, it would be hard to estimate the number of deaths, but it is likely that anyone living...
Honestly, I think it would take down any city on the world today. In the world today, 21st century, it doesn't matter how big it is. This bomb would take it down and make it inhabitable, and I think most of the citizens would die. If not immediately, then in 2 or 3 months of radiation sickness. So yeah, I think it would destroy civilization for good. Wow, this was interesting. Thank you for suggesting, my friends. I've heard about this bomb. I've never looked it in depth. How do you speak English? So now I know what it is. Now I know in nowadays even Russians have more nuclear warheads. The Russians have a bigger nuclear power than the US, but as said before, US weapons are more precise, more accurate, more advanced. I'm quite sure even US nuclear shield is better. I think everything is better except they have lesser weapons. But they don't need that many weapons because their weapons are accurate, and I think they deploy faster than all the rest of the things. They have more, so we don't have to worry. Also, NATO troops in Estonia, US troops in Estonia have multiplied because of the Russian-Ukraine tensions. We have more US troops in Estonia, which I like. Bring more and keep them here, please. Our safety and independence depends on the United States troops in Estonia. You guys in the US, you're doing us a big favor right now. You're allowing us to be free. Thank you. My friends, thank you for watching. Become a patron if you can afford it. And as always, until my next video, stay cool and bye bye.